Okay. There we go. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. Okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll give it a minute really quick. Let people jump on. And then I'm excited for our call today. So
Hi, Chantal. It's Brenda. I don't know where I went though, but
hey.
I had my video off, so then I hid myself so I wouldn't be like, "Hey, here's my profile picture."
Yeah. So who has something good to share from this week? No one? Everybody's muted? I know Amanda Jo said her kids are all home from school because of the snow out there. So we're just getting a ton of rain here today. So
Yeah, we're getting rain here today too.
yeah, you and I mean, we're far, but not terribly far. Same state. So, okay. So it's 12:31. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. And I did a trial run this morning to make sure I knew how to share all this. Oh, I think I have to put it in presentation mode first. There we go. Maybe.
I think you have to share the screen and then put it in presentation mode.
Yeah, last time it just popped up for me, but it's not there. So I might just have to do it not in presentation mode, which is fine. So give it one more try. Okay, we're just gonna go with it.
We're flexible.
Yeah, you'll still be able to see them. They just won't be as big. Okay, perfect. So this is week 4, and this week we're going to talk about making contact. So one thing I love about it is this is an easy week because you guys have already been doing it. So I just wanted to take a minute and congratulate everyone who has come so far, because we're not quite to the halfway mark, but 4 weeks is a long time to stick with something, especially when you're really stretching and growing and trying new things. So it only takes about 21 days for a new habit to form. So you should start to feel like, okay, I've got this. I'm doing some new things and I'm seeing the results. So what has been one best new thing you've added to your business since the first of the year? Who can share? Or if people are going to chat in the comments, maybe somebody could read them off to me too. So who can share something they've tried because of this program or just since the first of the year that's been a huge help for their business? No one?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah.
Okay. This is Chastity.
Hey, Chastity.
One thing that I have started doing that has just done this with the last couple of months is I've also had my hosts post on their personal wall. Hey, how do they word it? Hey, I'm currently having a Pampered Chef party. What are your favorite products? Trying to make my wish list. What are your favorite products?
I love that. Awesome. And that's getting more in action from everyone. So good job. So yeah, that is awesome. And then if anyone else wants to share something, you can just post it in the comments or post it in our group later if you're watching the replay. So just a quick recap from last week. Last week we focused on the affirmations. And I know that that had a huge impact on my business in 2017. So your challenge or homework was to create at least 6 affirmations and to say them out loud. So who here, if you're muted, you can just do a show of hands, but who here has done that and been saying them out loud? And I know Susan covered this last week, but I think part of the trick is to make sure you say them out loud. I had taken a training where she said, I've done affirmations before, they didn't work, but the out loud part seems like it wouldn't make that big of a difference, but really does. So who here has just...
Chantel, it's
Yes.
Brenda. Can you turn off the chimes on your end? I can't do that on my end, that coming in and out.
Possibly.
I think you should be able to go up to your meet. It should be one of your options. It's just not one of mine. And it just it's really kind of, yeah.
Okay. I think I will have to go out of sharing mode to do
I'm
it.
sorry. I just think for the recording, it might be easier too. Sorry about that. Kat, stop eating over there. I see you. No. She's on her lunch break. I'm just giving her grief. I'm sorry.
While
While you're looking for that, I'll just comment about the affirmations.
Awesome.
I know sometimes people are afraid to make their affirmations too specific, but the more specific they are, the better. And I want to encourage you all, and if you haven't had a chat with your director about this, you definitely want to, because your director can help you. But you want your affirmations to really, drill down to what you actually want, not just, I am having a successful business, but I am selling $4,000 a month, or I am recruiting 2 new people a month and my recruits are qualifying quickly, or it's June 2020 and I'm at Disney with my family on the trip I earned. So make sure that you're not afraid to be really specific, and you can write more than 1 affirmation in each category. It doesn't have to be only 1 in each category. You may have 6 for your business and 1 for finance. I just picked a category. But if you haven't really been specific in your affirmations and really specifically, gotten really down to exactly what you want from your business, I really encourage you to do that.
Yeah, Susan, this is Brenda. I have to say, I agree with you 100%. And I have to tell you something that really spoke to me today. I got to see Rachel Hollis. Somebody's got a lot.
A whole bunch of background noise and we cannot hear you.
I don't know. It might be somebody that's like not on.
While you're looking at the controls, Chantel, maybe you can mute most people.
I think everybody is muted
It's
except
the
for the
phone
ones
call,
that
I
are
think.
talking.
It's the phone call one. But I just want to share one thing quick. What Susan just said too, I got to see Rachel Hollis yesterday, and she came to Fargo, North Dakota. Yes. So we did for an hour. She came to Fargo, North Dakota for an hour. But anyway, you know what she said though, which I think goes hand in hand with affirmations. She says, your dreams are not my dreams. And we say that over and over, right? We all have different whys. We all have different dreams. But what she said, and I'm just going to read you what I wrote because I just thought this is right on. She goes, when you have a dream in your heart, it is worth going after just because simply you're worthy. And then she said, when you have a dream, you want to figure out how to get there. And the dream that and so this is the way I feel with affirmations. The ones that you need to write are the ones that you can't stop thinking about. Your heart, you keep thinking about it. Oh my gosh, I want to go to Disney World. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Oh my gosh, I want to do this. And then what she said is your heart is begging your head to get out of the way so you can actually go where you want to go. Because then that's where all that negative self-talk comes in. And I just believe that goes hand in hand with the affirmations, because that's what you have to keep saying to yourself so your heart gets the head out of the way. And you believe it. You believe that you can do it. And I just was like, yeah, I think I just love that she said, you have your dream in your heart, and it's worthy because simply you're worthy to try to go get it. And I just thought, yeah. So anyway, I even thought that was a good affirmation.
That is a good one. And I can't figure out the settings, but this is not just my Zoom account, so I don't want to log out because I won't be able to log back.
No, it's okay. I wish we could do it on our end.
Yeah. Okay. So what we want to talk about today is the first 3 weeks that we've been working on has actually all been about personal growth, which I think sometimes people start something like this and they want to just jump in. And the most important thing to start is with your personal growth, because you have to grow yourself to set new goals and to do something you've never done before. And then focusing on a balanced business is another really important aspect. So now that we've really spent several weeks working on affirmations and putting good habits in place, now it's really time to work on the actual doing of getting to Disney and growing your business to the next level. So having a balanced business that runs itself helps you reach all of your goals and helps you, and that's how we'll be able to see you in Disney. So just think for a minute what it would look like after you do the actions of this program for the next several weeks, and you're getting, you're doing your contacts and it just becomes second nature, and you're not having to think, where is my next show coming from? What's that going to look like when you can focus on growing other areas of your business instead of just worrying about filling your calendar or getting that next party? And you want things to become habits that they just happen. So this week, the good news is that it's all about making contacts. And that's something that you were challenged to do from day one. So this is going to be an easy week, and the assignment at the end is going to be really easy because you should already be doing it. But what I wanted to focus on is the why. So why are we making 25 contacts a week? And then for some of you, maybe it's going well and it's easy. And then for some of you, maybe it's been a struggle. So I just wanted to give you some tips and some ideas as well as the why and some good word choices. So has anyone here found it to be really easy, or just show of hands, since we're all muted, who here has been struggling with that aspect of their business? And be honest, it's okay, because I struggle with it sometimes too. We always have a lot of change going on here with our family. And so, certain times it feels like one thing's harder than the other. And there's certain weeks I struggle with the contacts too. So, let's talk about the why. And what that does is it's going to ensure that your business continues to grow. And a little bit later, I'll talk about the numbers and how numbers don't lie and why that actual number of 25 is so important. So just to clarify, there's a lot of ways to make contacts. So I've been doing this business a long time, and this list keeps growing. It doesn't get shorter. So the phone, and back when I started, that was like the primary way that you contacted people. You actually picked up the phone and called them. I would say the primary way now that I see people contacting people is probably text, number one, and Facebook, number two. But don't forget that there are periods in your business where you're going to really need to expand your circles. So then you need to think outside the box a little bit, be doing vendor events, out and about contacts. All of these are ways to be making contacts. And we know that a contact isn't just leaving a message or texting somebody with no response. You have to get a response for it to count as a contact. But what I find is, based on your personality style, sometimes certain forms of meeting people or making contacts is easier for some than others. So I know my leader in the business is awesome at out and about contacts. She does them all the time. She does great at them. We've got a lot of great leaders in Paper Chef that post about them on the page. Actually, there's a screenshot here on the screen that talks about one of them. That's my least favorite form of making contacts. So I would rather make an extra couple dozen phone calls or texts than actually do an out and about contact. So you want to make sure you're doing the ones that are easy for you and the hard ones as well. So who here, and again, you can put it in the chat if you want, or if you can unmute yourself, finds, what's your easiest way of contact, and then who here, one of these is a struggle for you? Who's willing to share? Anyone? No one? Now you're all muted, huh? Okay. Well, if you watch this later in the replay and you want to post on our group, that would be awesome to kind of share what's easy and hard, because I think you'll start to see with different personality types, one typically comes easier than the other. So the next one is, this one was kind of a fun one to write. So have you ever known somebody in the business, or maybe seen your leader in the business, somebody you admire, and it just looks like they have a magic wand and their business runs really smoothly, and you think, oh, it's easier for them, or they get bookings, no matter what, they always have a full calendar, they're always adding people to your team. Has anyone ever thought that before? You can just kind of wave your hand, Because it's easy to, yeah, thanks, Maria. It's easy to think that when you're watching somebody else's business, because you're not seeing what they're doing behind the scenes to make it happen. So those people that you look at and think, man, I wish I could, have a business a little bit more like them. Those people have made this 25 contacts a week such a habit that they don't even realize they're doing it anymore. So that's the whole point of making this a habit, is that you can do it without thinking. It happens every week, no matter what. And no matter how crazy or bad or whatever goes on in your week, you're still doing it because it's just such a habit that it's like brushing your teeth. You just do it no matter what. Like, you don't skip brushing your teeth in the morning like, oh, I had a bad day yesterday, I'm just going to skip it today. It's just a habit that you do every single day no matter what. So that's what you want to do with making contacts, because that's really the foundation of having a full calendar and growing your business towards any big goal. So just anytime you think somebody else's business looks easy, look for those habits that they've created, because again, they don't even realize they're doing them, but they are. Okay, so your number one priority, even when you're a leader, or even when you hit a really big goal like Disney, is always to have a strong personal show business and to keep growing your personal team so that you're always in growth mode. Because when you're in growth mode, everything kind of clicks and works together, and you feel like you're working less hard to get the results you want. So that's a goal, is to keep making these contacts and then stay in growth mode with your business. And we've been encouraging you since the beginning to keep track. And then I told you I wanted to explain why. So the numbers don't lie in your business. And there's really two big reasons we need you to keep track. The first one is that way, if we're working with you, we can actually have you send us the list of, how many contacts have you been getting or doing, and then what results have you been getting? Because it's hard to work with you if we don't have something concrete to work with. So we do that even with new consultants. We have them make a list of who they know and who they're going to contact, and then when we check in, we ask them who they've talked to. So that's the first one. Has anyone here ever felt like you've contacted everyone you know and you don't have the shows you want? I see some heads. Okay, so I've done that too. And when you get to that point, if you're not tracking them, you're going to think, okay, I've contacted everybody I know, now what? But if you are writing names, numbers, when you last talked to them, what you said down, you might look back and say, well, I only contacted 20 or 30 people. And everybody, you might have to start thinking to, bigger groups of people, but everybody knows more than 20 or 30 people. They just might not be people that you're comfortable with or in your inner circle, but we all have those outer circles of contacts that aren't people we talk to every day, but we do know them. So that's the first reason it's really important to track your numbers, is because sometimes we think we've done a lot of work and there's just not enough people on that list. Does that make sense? Okay. So you just have to keep going. So we're going to talk a little bit about math, which some people I know are math people, some people aren't, but we'll keep it really simple. So typically 1 in every 10 contacts, so that's that two-way conversation, is going to turn into a booking. And your goal with making 25 contacts a week is to get 2 bookings a week. So you can see right there, we've got a little cushion built in, but if you're making the 25 contacts a week, then you're going to be getting 2 bookings a week, which means your calendar is constantly growing. And this is outside of your shows. So this isn't people that are participating in your Facebook parties, and this is not people who are coming to your cooking shows. This is all outside of the shows. So if you're constantly adding those 2 new bookings to your calendar and then you're doing shows, you're going to have your calendar exactly where you want it. So again, when you keep track of it, first of all, you're going to know if you're making the 25 or not. It also gives us something to work with you. If you're making 25 two-way contacts and still getting not enough bookings, then as leaders, we'll know we can help you with word choices and we can role play. And it really gives us a direction of how can we help you best. So again, that's the first important reason to write it down and keep track of it. So I think at the beginning we talked about a notebook. That's really the simplest way. Some people keep track of it in their calendars. So if you're, depending on type of calendar you use, if you're doing 5 contacts a day, you might have a calendar that has room just to write down who you contacted each day if it's easier to have it all in one place. I know I have girls on my team that prefer to do pretty much everything digitally. So they might be using the notes section on their phone with dates and things like that. So whatever method works for you, make it work. And all of those are different ways you could share with your leader too. So the second reason it's really important to track your contacts, and this is the one I always see, like, people look at me like, are you serious? Is that you want to follow up with each two-way conversation lead at least 10 times or until they tell you no. And I want you to think about that for a second. Are you doing that? Because 10 times is a lot of times. And I know people look at me like, are you serious? But I've done this a long time. And I would say that that really can be the secret to success. Is sometimes people are busy. Sometimes they aren't going to respond to you. But if they were ever a lead and they haven't told you, no, don't contact me again, they're still a lead. And so it's easy to think like, oh my gosh, I've messaged this girl so many times. She hasn't answered me. I don't want to contact her again. So that's where keeping track of it in a notebook or on your phone and saying, okay, I messaged her once last week, once this week, then I spaced it out a little bit more, which we'll talk about here in a second. And thinking, okay, well, I've only messaged her 4 times, that means she's still a contact. If you're not tracking that, it's easy to feel like, well, I've already messaged her a ton of times, she's not interested. But just statistics in sales in general is that most of your bookings or most of your sales are going to come when you're following up with them from the 7th through the 10th time, not the 1st through the 4th, the 7th through the 10th. So if you are stopping a follow-up, after the 3rd reach out or the 4th reach out, you're missing a huge percent. It's almost 80% of the business out there you're missing, and somebody else who follows up more than you is going to get it. Okay. So I think that seeing these numbers, and that's why I love relating it to math, because seeing these numbers, these are just plain numbers. You don't have to worry about the emotion behind it, because it can feel emotional, but the numbers aren't going to lie. So if you're like, okay, I've only contacted her 6 times, I'll contact one more time. That's just the number, and it's not as emotional. Does that all make sense? Okay. Let's see here. So don't be annoying. So I wanted to clarify the follow up 10 times. We don't follow up 10 times in 10 days. Okay, that would be annoying. You don't want to follow up even 10 times for 10 weeks in a row. These are actually leads that maybe you got a lead at a party and they said, you want to contact me after the holidays. Did anyone hear that in November or December? Okay. So that's a lead. They told you to contact them, not the other way around. So if you haven't reached out to them as one of your 25 contacts this week, that would be a good person to put on your list. So typically, you're going to leave a message or send a text. So my text this week sounded something like this. Hey, Sally, I'm super excited. Now that the holidays are over and things have slowed down a little bit, I wanted to reach back out to you. I'm getting a lot of really great feedback about our quick cookers, and I'm excited to be doing a fun recipe with that this month. Are you interested in having a party this year? Okay. Always end with a question. I sent out about 10 texts like that yesterday, and I got a couple answers. So the answers were some of my 25 contacts. And the one girl said, yes, send me some dates. Several people didn't answer at all. So I'm not going to text them tomorrow. I'll probably wait till next week. So a good rule of thumb would be if they told you to follow up this time of year, contact them every week for 2 to 3 weeks, depending on your comfort level. It'd just be a text. And you might even say the 3rd time, like, hey, I don't know if you're still interested, or if you're like me and you keep seeing your text and you think you respond, but you forget, kind of make light of it. And a lot of times that'll get you a quick answer. If you still don't hear back, I would move them out on your contact list for a couple months, give it a rest and then come back, because you can always reach back out if you have something new, something exciting, or something helpful to share. So something new would be like our new salad bowl that you can do the chopped salad in. Or when March 1st comes around, you could recontact some of the leads that just didn't respond for a while with some new information about the new products. Something exciting could always be our host bonuses. So this month for January, it could be double free. For February, it could be the stoneware. For March, it could be the rock crock. So you always have something exciting and then something helpful. So we got to hear from Pampered Chef on a leader call yesterday that the quick cooker is really selling in some high numbers, and they challenged us to get it in front of more people. And the reason that's such a popular product right now is because it's helping people spend more time around the dinner table, have less stress in the kitchen, all of those things. So you can always take a new recipe or a new product and turn it into something helpful. So just keep in mind, it's not going to be annoying if you have something new, exciting, or helpful to share. Does that make sense? Okay. And then the last thing, so I have team members, and I even get this way where I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady's never going to answer me, and I am done contacting her. Now, you can't say that on the second or third contact. You need to wait until you're at like 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. But the last your last contact would be something like this. Hey, I never want to be a pampered pest. Are you still interested in having a party? I would say 9 times out of 10 that gets a response. It's usually something's been going on, oh yes, I am, but we moved and we've been doing remodeling. A lot of people just in this day and age, they see a text and it's not, their answer is not yes, and they keep on going with their day and they forget. If they don't respond at all to that, give yourself permission to just take them off the list and keep going with some new people. But I would say most often that gives you a response, and a lot of times they need more time, and then you can just move them on your list several months out, and they've given you permission to recontact them again, which is very helpful so that you're contacting people who want to be contacted. Does that make sense? Okay, so I wanted to wrap up with the take action for this week. So keep making your 25 contacts. Well, that should say a week. So 5 contacts a day, 25 contacts a week. And say your affirmations out loud. If you have not been saying them out loud, add that in. And I know for me, the reason I'm stressing that is that was something that was hard for me to do, was to actually say them out loud. And I heard a tip to say them when you brush your teeth in the morning and the evening. Make that the time that you say them out loud. You can even write them on your bathroom mirror or put them on a Post-it note there. Put them in various places. I also like to say my affirmations when I'm driving to a show. And I found that can really set me in a good tone for having a good show and getting good results out of that show too. So make sure you're building it into your day and you're saying them out loud. And don't forget to schedule the follow-up with your director this week so that we can see you again next week. Any questions before I go to the last one?
I have a question, Chantel.
Sure.
And it's not really a question. It's just to ask, your wording that you shared earlier when you called about the quick cooker, do you think you can share that on the Destination Disney page?
I can just take a screenshot.
That was great wording. I think it would be great for people to see it.
Yeah, I'll just take a screenshot of some of the text I sent yesterday. And
that'd be great.
I have the Evernote too, and there's some word choices in there, so I can always share that too.
Yeah, it was great wording. Thank you.
Awesome. And then, okay, so, and I wanted to add in a fun challenge. I don't think we did this. I know I've done this with my team, so I double checked to make sure we didn't do it with our group. But I think for this being our Disney group, one of the best things you can do is put your tracker somewhere really visible. So we have always, for 14 years, had the tracker posted to my kitchen cabinets. The outside, not the inside. I want everybody to see it. In fact, when we moved, that cabinet had a tracker for 14 years. Like, there was permanent marker that had leaked through some of the trackers on the old cabinets. So this is kind of almost like a mental mind game trick. This is a way you want to have conversations with the people who support you. So whether it's the people in your house, your spouse or significant other, your kids, it's Disney. So I'm assuming there's some, probably some kids or somebody that you're going to be taking on that trip, grandkids. Put this tracker somewhere where it's very visible and have conversations with the people that are going to see it about how they can support you and cheer you on. Because I feel like as I think most of us are women, so if there's guys around here, but I know for me personally, I'll push myself harder to do things that are uncomfortable for me or I don't want to do for my kids. So having that tracker, having them involved in coloring it in, having them, cheering you on is really a big deal. So post your Disney tracker wherever you have it hanging up. And if you don't have it hanging up, make sure you get it. And I'm sure your leader can provide you with a copy. There's one on Consultant's Corner. But now is the time to post it and start coloring in those stars and keeping track of it and having somebody or multiple people cheering you on. This group is a great place to cheer you on, but you want somebody at home who might see you on the couch on a day you're having a bad day and be like, Mom, you're going to make those calls you said you had to make? That's going to push you a lot further than anybody that you're, contacting through, cheering you on Facebook. Those people in your house are going to really push you to get things done. My youngest said the other day, when we get home, everybody should be quiet because, Mom has a lot of work to do that's not done. So that's going to push you to stick with it more than anything else out there. So that's your challenge from me personally this week, is to post your Disney tracker in our Disney group on Facebook so that we can see it, and also to make sure you have it printed out and it's visible for everyone. And then right on time, make it a great week, because it's kind of fun to do the impossible, to set a big goal and then break it down into small weekly bites like we're doing for you, and at the end to see all that you achieved. So make it a great week, don't give up, and keep on going. And then I can't wait to see your Disney trackers. So let me stop the share and stop the recording. Make sure we have that.